TGIF 812, it's time for Island Tea. We got my man AZ in the studio with me, and Kortensia is on the way. So, everyone, don't panic. She's on the way. Hey, what's up?
Good morning to everyone. I just want to wish everyone a fantastic Friday as we conclude the big winding down. It's coming on to the end of the week. And so I want to wish everyone a fantastic Friday. In fact, today, as persons may or may not be aware, today it is the opening of the new law year 2024. And so the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, they issued a press release, and it says that on Friday, 12th January 2024, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court will mark the commencement of the new law year with its traditional ceremonial opening proceedings under the theme Innovation and Justice Reform, the ECSE Looking to the Future. And so this year, the host member state is Grenada, where the first scheduled sitting of the Court of Appeal for 2024 will occur. The ceremonial opening will commence with a church service in most member states and territories, followed by the procession to the High Court, where the formal special sitting of the court will be held. In St. Kitts and Nevis, the church service will be held at the St. George's Anglican Church, commencing at 8 a.m. promptly. This will be followed by the procession to the Charles-Amory Building, Fort Lands, where the inspection of the guard will be conducted, followed by the special sitting at 10 a.m. So similar to the past few years, there will be one special sitting throughout the 9 member states and territories. The Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Dean Janice Pereira, DBE, LLD, will deliver the featured address, appearing live from the court in Grenada along with the other speakers from the various member states and territories of the Eastern Caribbean. So the special sitting will be streamed live to the other member states and territories via the Grenada Information Services media platforms and special media and social media pages of the other member states and territories of the OECS. It will also be live streamed via the court's website and Facebook page. The websites and social media pages of the Government Information Services in each member state and territory, and the UWI TV. So the public is encouraged to participate in the ceremonial opening of the law year 2024 by attending either the church service or the special sitting, or by watching and listening one of the various media platforms. So the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court was established in 1967 by the West Indies Associated States Supreme Court Order number 223 of 1967, and the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court is a superior court of record for the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, including its 6 independent states, Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and 3 British overseas territories, Anguilla, British Virgin Islands, and Montserrat. It has unlimited jurisdiction in each member state. To learn more about the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, please visit our website, www.eccourts.org, or call us at telephone 758-457-3600. And so, as I've read, the opening of the law year begins today, and there is to be the church service at the St. George's Anglican Church happening now, and then after that there will be a procession from the church to Fort Lands, where there will be a special sitting, and of course the inspection of the guard will be conducted just before the sitting commences. So those persons who wish to be a part, you can look at the live stream as the information has been indicated to you all, shared with you. And the theme this year is Innovation and Justice Reform, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court looking to the future. Yes. So now the opening of the law year.
Yeah.
Everyone is excited, I'm sure.
I don't know if I had mentioned I had interviewed her. What day was it? Wednesday or Tuesday?
I think I think one of those
3
days.
o'clock.
Yeah, you did. How was it?
It was good. I asked her about the theme for this
And when
year,
you
so
say her, you mean the registrar of this?
the registrar.
Yes,
yeah.
Miss Nishama Ratan-Mac, the acting registrar of the High Court here in St. Kitts.
No. I interviewed the chief registrar from Grenada.
Oh,
yeah.
the chief.
Mhm,
Okay.
Nishama was just she was just here. Yeah.
Yes.
Being a helicopter parent. Yeah.
Yes, you have the chief registrar, and then you have registrars in each jurisdiction. Yes, that would handle the matter.
Yeah, so the theme this year is what innovation and
Justice reform.
And justice reform. So I kind of asked her some questions about some of the things they might be doing for justice reform. Like I think I referenced things like arbitration and mediation, and so if those if that was part of the push, and she said yes, and I mentioned other stuff. So it was about 16 minutes actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So how come you're not going to either?
Well, I'm here on the show here I've been to the church services before. I'm here at the church, and then afterwards I called the court in Sandy Point, and apparently they're going to be taking matters. So I wanted to attend the special sitting, but I have matters in Sandy Point that I don't want to get adjourned. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes.
And then as for the church, you're sufficiently washed in the Lord, right?
The church service, it is there, I decided that my role, and Madam Registrar called me yesterday. She said, if you're going to be on the radio, could you, highlight what we're doing today? And I said, sure, no problem. So I am working as well. You see,
after all, your shirt is as white as snow.
I'm working at a different side of the vineyard.
That's the why.
So while the other attorneys are at the church, I'm promoting here on the radio what is happening. So it's all a part of the being inclusive and being able to deliver in different areas, the same message.
Okay.
And so while the church service is happening, I'm here and I'm advocating and I'm informing what is to be happening today. And so, yes.
So you're going to go to Fort Lands thereafter, right?
I have matters in court in Sandy Point.
Okay.
So, and around the same time, I really didn't intend to go.
Okay.
And it just, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Fair enough.
What's the new courthouse like? Oh, I meant to ask that. Yeah, the up at Fort Lands. Is it?
It's not bad. It's not
same,
bad.
The same traditional design? No.
Yeah,
nothing?
the same design and everything. It's not
Okay.
bad. For the magistrate court, I think up there it gives us a little space. It also has a nice scenery. It also have a nice waiting area for persons who are waiting for their matters to be heard.
Yeah.
So they, instead of sitting in the square, as they usually do for the other court here, because that building, the Tapley Seaton building where the magistrate court is held, is a bit small, and so not very often do attorneys, have the privilege of sitting in there. Sometimes we have to wait outside in the waiting area as well. So that one is a bit small, but the magistrate court at Fort Lands, it's good size enough, at least one of them, where we could sit in.
At least up there you get a nice tranquil view of the bay before you go to jail.
Oh, jeez.
But, I think that, provisions in the future perhaps could be made to have a permanent location, because I don't know what the intention of the government is at the Fort Lands. I assume that it's for the time being. I don't know for how long. I'm not casting any aspersions.
So where do like the I was never been a fan of this thing with people having to stand outside and a policeman comes outside in a robot
Shout
voice calling your name.
Yeah, I too agree with you. I've seen the court in Barbados, and in Barbados is really different. You have a nice little waiting area. You have your number, and when you call, you just go. It's not that you're shouting out.
Yeah, I hate that.
I would agree with you. I don't think I think that we have transcended that. I think that there should be facility where it is
Maybe you
that
sit
persons
down,
could sit
And
down.
there's like an intercom or
Yes,
something.
and then
you know?
and then you call.
At least make you feel like you're in an airport waiting or something. You know?
Or maybe make you comfortable as you wait for your matters to be heard, as it is in the square or shouting. I think that, we could make some provisions.
So
there.
who invented the shouting?
I
thing?
think it is just a part of our history, our culture, and we just carried along with it.
We kept it.
Yeah, we just kept with it. But I do recall, while studying at the University of West Indies and visiting their Supreme Court there, and I recall there being a waiting area where you sit down nice, you have your little check, you pass through, you have your screening, the security, they check your bags, everything, and then you have a nice little waiting area there where you sit and wait until someone calls your number. I think something like that could be put here, whereas you have a little bit of comfort,
Yeah.
I mean, the up at Fortlands, it gives you that semi-comfort because then you're waiting on the benches in the garden or the yard, so to speak,
Oh, nice.
and then you're called.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the yard. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
Okay,
you
that's
have
nice.
the opportunity. Though some persons I see still wait close to the War Memorial.
Yeah, I figured.
So, but you have the opportunity that you.
It's
could go
just a
into.
way. I think it's just habit because you see how they waited over at the square.
Yes.
It's just habit.
And
like,
it still
okay, let
happens
me-
at the square. So there's different locations. So there, and
Oh,
then
there's
when you
still
go,
court at the square.
Yes, you have a magistrate court at this
Oh,
square.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, the new building, the annex, right?
The annex,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have one there.
Oh.
Then you have one up by Fortlands, and then you also have the High Court up by Fortlands.
I guess the mold isn't ready
I
for
thought that was
building
just
yet.
for records. I didn't realize it was for them too.
Yeah,
Okay.
the annex is there, and so upstairs, that building, you have the registry, where it is that the High Court registry. So you could do your
Okay.
record. If you have matters, you have anything to be done. Most of the filing is done online now anyway. But if you have anything to be done at the registry, then you have it. And then you have the land registry that has been separated from the High Court registry, and the land registry is at the, what you call the old CNC building? Yes, the former CNC building, that green building,
Right
just
over
over there.
there,
Yes,
Yeah, right now.
yes,
I
facing us
actually-
here.
I actually had thought that it was. I'm assuming maybe they're just going to join into that building because I guess this is a fairly new building, so maybe
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah, again, I don't know what they're going to do there, but
But I actually thought the whole thing was going to be taken down. I
Is
didn't
this
realize
building
it.
now a government building or is
Yeah,
still owned by
It's owned by
CNT?
it's part of the court, the
Oh,
Ministry of
they-
Justice. Yeah.
Oh, they bought it.
I think they bought
Okay,
it.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting how we have been developing as a people, and when you talk about innovation and the fourth, you now file matters on what we call the portal.
Okay.
So there's an electronic copy. Even though at the magistrate court you file it on the portal, then you still print the hard copy and present it to them.
Well, I
So-
guess they're still gonna have some
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, but at the High Court you just file on the portal, and you don't have to print anything what you file to present.
That reminds me when I go to National Bank and
Unless
I-
it's for sometimes signature or whatever.
Okay.
Some matters, yeah.
you guys know how National Bank is the only bank that still makes you fill out. So I always almost always when I go up to the cashiers, I go, so when are you guys gonna stop abusing the trees? No?
No, boy.
I said this is
Yes.
2020, let's say 2022, and you guys are still having people fill out these things. I mean,
Yeah, for real. Now you speak about it because
No,
you
it's
just
true.
go to the other banks, you tell them what you want to do, and
exactly.
you're issued with a receipt.
Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
credit union is ahead of National Bank.
Mhm.
Boom. Wow.
Yeah, and thank God they got rid of those
Good.
those bulletproof.
But why don't you think? Because
Well, no,
look,
not the
look,
bulletproof glass, but that
the
carousel, the
door.
carousel
But
door thing.
Isn't the
that
glass
you
down
see.
as well? I haven't had a chance to go
I think it's
into
this,
the bank.
Wait, I can't even remember. Wait.
Because credit unions still have their glass. I see it looks like all the other bank decided they're gonna take their glass.
And what's
down.
funny, the banks in North America have gone back to that
Uh-huh.
kind of sit down across a desk vibe. So you're going, yeah, it actually looks nice. It looks like you're
In
in
North
a,
America, you said?
yeah. mhm.
Okay.
I
They've
wouldn't
gone
wanna
back
work
to that.
there,
Yeah.
so you easily could come and say, "Give me your money."
You sit
No,
down.
mm-mm.
No, but they have
I like the protection.
they have
Mhm.
systems for that. You have panic buttons and all kind of things. Yeah.
So you saw that recently, Jamster?
What?
The sit down.
Sit down across the
and you
desk.
come.
Yeah, that's been a while now. It's about 10
Okay.
years now.
Okay.
About 10,
Okay.
15 years now. They've think so.
This is why I don't work in the bank
Yeah.
in the U.S.
I don't think. I don't think. There would
Which
be
is not
no
to say you don't have banks where you
Yeah.
stand. There's a stand-up thing, right? But they don't have usually they don't have the glass and all that stuff.
I've visited the U.S.
know.
a couple of times, and especially in recent time, but I don't recall ever having to go to a bank, so I never really observed what.
What
they're doing.
happens
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
plenty sense.
Usually just have my card and I just swipe where they go. Or the
Look at-
cash.
Look at
Yeah.
life and technology.
Yes,
Swipe.
I know. You know, you swipe.
So 8:28. Someone asked me yesterday. You know how there's always stuff that we never get to.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
because somebody asked me yesterday about the Ecuador thing. You guys saw that earlier,
Ecuador?
right? Yeah, there was some craziness with some people. They were having some unrest, and apparently the high point of that, or maybe the low point, you should probably the low
Mhm.
point. Some people stormed a TV station and took some of the people hostage and stuff. Yeah, it was a
Wow.
lot of crazy stuff.
And it rains, it pours.
Yeah, Ecuador news. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the
Really?
person, well, I did want to bring it up because I didn't even get to mention it to you guys because I didn't really see a story.
Mm-hmm.
Two people asked me about it actually, and I was like, what's going on in Ecuador? And he told me.
So all I'm saying is Ecuador declares state of war against.
drug gangs. That's the way it
That's
started.
it?
Yeah, that's where it
Okay.
started, and then at one point, the thing that made the world news, I guess, maybe to a greater degree, was the storming of the TV station where they took some people hostages and stuff.
Mm.
You guys want to listen to a little bit of that?
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
we could
Because
go
I'm
ahead.
reading. I'm seeing what I can read.
Okay. It's a pity
Mm-hmm.
because I actually remember during COVID, Ecuador was one of the countries that was hardest hit by the deaths. I remember. I mean, you were seeing bodies like packed pile up in the street, and so it's kind of crazy.
Ecuador has a pretty young president, though. He's
Yeah.
only 35.
Who have real power when they can literally shoot scenes for a music video inside prison walls without anybody being able to explain how they did it.
Maybe you got to turn up the volume.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Let's see. Come on.
That man is Adolfo Matias, also goes by the name Fito. He's a notorious drug lord in Ecuador, leader of a
Okay, let me not play this one. This one, because the funny thing was this one used an image I saw on New York Times, so I actually thought that was the story.
Oh, look it
But,
right
okay,
here.
you
So
found
Quito,
something?
Ecuador. Ecuador's president has declared war on drug gangs holding scores of prison guards hostage in a wave of violence that saw the storming of a TV station on air
Yes.
and explosions around the nation. The unrest appears to be in response to President Daniel Noboa's effort to tackle cocaine trafficking, in particular by putting the gang leaders in new high-security prisons. We are at war and we cannot cede in the face of these terrorist groups, Noboa, the 36-year-old son of a banana baron in power since November, said on Wednesday. His government has declared a state of emergency, sent the military after 22 gangs named as terrorist organization, and said about 20,000 criminals are involved. Since Monday, gangs have kidnapped more than 130 prison guards and staff. That followed the apparent escape of notorious Los Choneros gang leader Adolfo Macias from prison. With unexplained blasts occurring in various cities, a balaclava-clad gunman with grenades and dynamite briefly took over the TC broadcaster in the Pacific Ocean port city, Guayaquil, on Tuesday during a news program before police arrested them and freed the media staff. It was surreal, said journalist Jose Luis Calderon, 47, who at one point was obliged to appear on camera at gunpoint at the TV studio. Calderon told Reuters that at first he hid in the bathroom with others, but they were found and forced into the studio by the assailants. When police gunshots were heard outside, some colleagues begged for their lives. The individuals shot their guns, I think, in reaction to the police, and they shot a door, and one of the bullets ricocheted and injured the leg of a cameraman, Calderon said. A colleague recounted how dozens of journalists cowered on the floor, some praying. I thought it was my last day on earth and I wouldn't see my children again, Alina Manrique said. The Armed Forces Commander, Rear Admiral Jaime Vela, told a news conference late on Wednesday that 329 people, mostly from gangs including Los Chonoros, Los Lobos, and Los Trigorones, have been detained since the state of emergency began this week. In response to videos purporting to show prison staff being subjected to extreme violence, including shooting and hanging, he said no hostage had been killed. Reuters could not immediately verify the videos. Prison agency Sanai said 125 guards and 14 administrative staff remain hostages, with 11 people freed on Tuesday. Police said 9 officers were kidnapped in recent days, with 3 still being held. Showing determination to press on with his security policies, Noboa told Canela Radio a design for 2 new prison facilities would be made public on Thursday. The president said deportation of foreign prisoners, especially Colombians, who number 1,500 in Ecuador's jail, would begin this week to ease overcrowding and costs. We are investing more on those 1,500 people than on school breakfast for our children, he said. And it continues, Ecuador borders cocaine producing Colombia and Peru and has become a major shipment point. Both its neighbors have stepped up controls on their frontiers. China, a major investor, has closed its embassy and consulate. Washington has pledged aid, said Noboa, whose $800 million security plan includes $200 million of weapons from the U.S. Peru is investigating possible smuggling by its military of explosive and grenades for Ecuador's gangs. Ecuador's government said the oil and mining sectors are functioning normally and has sent security forces to ports to protect exports like fruit and cocoa. Soldiers and police have been raiding homes, beefing up checkpoints, and entering prisons. The challenge for Noboa will be to make a lasting headway in the fight against crime beyond any immediate term, military-led pacification consulting firm Teneo said in a note. Many businesses and schools have closed, with city streets quiet as police and soldiers patrolled. It's a very cold environment, as if there were a new COVID, said Geico security guard Rodolfo Tuas 40. It's nerve-wracking. We cannot work in these conditions, said another resident, Gabriela Navarez. In anti-gang operation, 5 gang members were killed in Esmeraldas, Providence, National Police Commander General Cesar Zapata said, without giving more details. Police were also seeking to identify 3 bodies in a burnt-out car south of Guayaquil, and 2 officers were killed by armed men in Guayaquil province, where Guayaquil is located.
Yeah, so...
And this whole story come from Reuters.
Yeah, so, all that crazy stuff going on down there in
Ecuador, South America. Not too far from GT. Oh, boy. When it rains in the south, it pours, huh?
And also, there were a couple other things. I think I sent you guys some stuff, but let me see. You guys know about did we mention how South Africa has taken...
Yes.
Excuse me, taken Israel to the international...
Yes, for genocide, yeah. They have.
So, my response to that was like, I'd love to see that, but I would like to see some consistency, and I'd like to see South Africa now take Putin to the... and Russia to the International Criminal Court. But we know that's not going to happen, so...
And I just got to say that because the war on Ukraine started before the Israeli-Palestinian war, which was started by Hamas. So You know when they say monkey know which limb to jump on, so they
Yeah.
probably figure Israel is
Mhm.
the easier target to take to court than mess with Mr.
Actually,
Putin.
no. I think you could argue Israel is maybe the more problematic one to take because they have so much support and everyone turns into an invertebrate when they don't want to be called anti-Semitic, right?
Mm.
So that's part of the problem.
Okay.
And to to see that this African country had the gall to do that. But I wish they would have the gall across the board and be consistent and not be
Take
hypocrites.
everybody. Don't just take some.
Because they like to say, I have some friends here, like Kolanji. He talks about how, and this is true. He talks about how during apartheid and so on, the Russians used to support, they used to support South Africa and so. But just because Russia supported African countries during that period doesn't mean Russia is our friend.
Exactly.
You know?
So-
Russia, it was all about the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing. You know?
So here it says a continent away from the a contingent, no, a continent away from the fighting between Israel and Hamas, South Africa. Oh, yes, so it was a continent away from, how we read first was a continent away from the fighting between Israel and Hamas. South Africa told judges at the United Nations top court on Thursday that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza and pleaded with the court to urgently order Israel to halt its military operations. So Israel has vehemently denied such arguments. South African lawyers said that the latest Gaza war is part of a decade-long oppression of the Palestinians by Israel. Israel has vehemently denied such arguments even ahead of the opening arguments at the UN court in The Hague. Lawyers for South Africa asked judges at Thursday's hearing to impose binding preliminary orders on Israel, including an immediate halt to Israel's military campaign in Gaza. Here it says, quote, genocides are never declared in advance, but this court has the benefit of the past 13 weeks of evidence that shows a pattern of conduct and related intention that justifies as a plausible claim of genocidal acts. South African lawyers told the judges and audience in the packed room of Peace Palace in The Hague. Again, quote, nothing will stop the suffering except an order from this court. Without an indication of provisional measures, the atrocity will continue, with Israeli Defense Force indicating that it intends to pursue this course of action for at least a year. So ahead of the proceedings, hundreds of pro-Israeli protesters marched close to the courthouse with banners saying, "Bring them home," referring to the hostages still held by Hamas. Among the crowds, people were holding Israeli and Dutch flags. Outside the court, others were protesting and waving the Palestinian flag in support of South Africans' move. The dispute strikes at the heart of Israel's national identity as a Jewish state created in the aftermath of Nazi genocide in the Holocaust. So it also involves South Africa's identity. Its governing party, the African National Congress, has long compared Israel's policy in Gaza and the West Bank to its own history under the apartheid regime of the white minority rule, which restricted most blacks to homelands before ending in 1994. So this article goes on. Let me see. It's a very long article. Trying to see what the end says. It says that the International Criminal Court, based a few miles away in The Hague, prosecutes individuals for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. This case revolves around the Genocide Convention that has been drawn up in 1948 in the aftermath of World War II and murder of 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Both Israel and South Africa are signatory. Israel is back on the International Court of Justice docket next month when hearings open into a UN request for a non-binding advisory opinion on the legality of Israel's policy in the West Bank and East Jerusalem.
I don't know if you guys know that Israel was actually part of the African Union. I think they were given observer status, which I don't know why that happened in the first place. South Africa was also instrumental in having them removed, and that was even before. Yeah, no, they had them removed.
No, I just it's
but-
how you said it.
Yeah, but
Because they were on it and then they basically threw them out.
yeah, I saw the
know they
video.
have the
I saw the
claims with
video
them.
and they had a they had an AU meeting and they actually embarrassed them and had them leave while they
wow.
were there. Yeah.
Ooh.
Man, I live for that kind of stuff. Anyway, so the reason I'm bringing that up is the Europeans have for centuries, or well, maybe you could say starting in the 18th, 19th century, they had this campaign in trying to de-Africanize northeastern Africa. So there's some people who still don't realize that Egypt is in Africa, and for obvious reasons, Israel is on the African plate. So technically, Israel is. I mean, back then Israel was considered part of Africa.
That's why the Israelites were saying they were the true inhabitants
Yeah,
of the land until
all
they were
there.
moved.
Yeah, and so I just I wasn't upset to see them get embarrassed like that because Israel is African when it suits them,
Yeah.
but most of the time it's not African when it
Okay.
suits them.
Yeah.
You know, so
So they work with that.
you know.
Before we hit the happening H1N1, the business women, the BPW, that's the Business and Professional Women, will commence its women's wellness clinics in January 2024. St. Kitts is collaborating with the Ministry of Health and the St. Kitts and Nevis Medical and Dental Association to administer a women's wellness clinic during the month of January, World Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. This is the third year the club has organized the Women's Wellness Clinic after a hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The clinic will be held on Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. during the month of January 2024 as follows. January the 13th, Newtown Health Center. On the 20th of January, it's the Basse Health Center. And on the 27th of January, the Sandy Point Medical Center. The objective of the wellness campaign is to bring awareness to the services offered to the public and women in particular by the health clinics across the Federation and to encourage women to undertake the necessary screening and testing as well as consultations with the nurses as preventative measures and to address any health needs early. In addition to cervical cancer screening, pap smear tests, the nurses will also conduct breast cancer examinations, blood pressure testings, height, weight, and body mass index, diabetes screening, as well as rapid testing for HIV. The adult public is invited to attend the clinics and take advantage of the free tests and consultations.
Yeah.
So go out and support. The clinic starts from this Saturday, the 13th January, at the Newtown Health Center. The clinic starts from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. On the 20th of January, the Basse Health Center, and on the 27th, they take it to the Sandy Point Medical Center. So be
Okay.
present, get your health check, and be at peace.
And of course, we have the
With your
Rotary. Yeah, we also have that Rotary thing
Yes,
tomorrow. So,
tomorrow.
yeah. The phones are blowing up for some reason. Call
Let's hear what they have to say. Good
Hi,
day.
good morning, Jamster. Good morning, Carty.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Gumbs.
Good morning.
Jamster, yeah, you made some good points there, and it's for all those reasons why South Africa would have brought a case against Israel because of the apartheid, and there was always diplomatic spat. And with the observer status of Israel, rightly so, but not under that apartheid regime in Tel Aviv. And also, I think the Palestinian has observer status as well. So acknowledging that Palestine is a part of the African tectonic plate, so be it. But in terms of the governance of the apartheid regime in Israel, it is all too familiar with the struggles of South Africa. Speaking of Ukraine and Russia, why won't one of the European Union bring a case? In spite of it's not too far, according to what Mr. Azard just read, the continent of Africa is not so far from Palestine, as the news reporter wanted it to seem. But the borders of Ukraine and Russia, and let's say Poland and other European countries, they are closer. So why won't one of those other European nations bring a case of that nature?
That's a good point.
Considered to be genocide.
I never thought about that. Yeah, it's funny. You know.
Right, but that's a good thing. But yes, with the observer status of Israel, and I watched that video also when the observer member was asked to leave. That came definitely from South Africa because of their long-time diplomatic past when Israel was a staunch supporter of the apartheid regime in South Africa. Today, South Africa don't have an apartheid regime. So let us hope that Israel would not have an apartheid regime and the space which Israel is a part, Palestine is a part of the African tectonic plate, not because our people was driven out. Case in point, if you go to Argentina, you will hardly see anyone look like Kortensia, Jamster, or Azard in Argentina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Argentina.
Cleansing again.
Yes, Argentina.
Cleansing again.
Argentina had an official black African extermination program. Yes.
Thank you. That is the point I'm trying to
They
bring
did.
home. So we need to walk back to the history and to know
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
who has occupied that space. It is the same ethnicity. Can you do a DNA test and come up with a result of what the test might reflect? So good conversation, good discussion. Just a little note on the diplomatic front. I wish that the case, it will find favor for the sake of humanity. Even though Mrs. Henry will talk about the Muslims and how we were treated, we are still human and we are parents of our humanity. So we must have a voice to speak up for all. In spite of the abuse, we are still the parents. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
Thanks for your contribution.
Caller, go right ahead. It's 8:50. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay.
I don't know if you got a chance to listen to parts of that case in The Hague, but
I watched some of it last night on CNN, but
Okay.
CNN it's all about,
yes, but I'm not sure that CNN covered
exactly.
the South Africans case as much as they do in Israel. But being that as it may, Israel's arguments seem to be based on the fact that it's self-defense. And they want nothing to do with anything that happened pre-October 7th. That is their thing. They're saying that what South Africa is trying to do is essentially take away their right to self-defense and defend themselves against what happened on October 7th. Neglecting the fact that in the first place, they're an occupying power. They occupied the West Bank. They occupied Gaza for some time too. Well, I think there's something that says everybody has a right to resist occupation, but they don't want to go there, right? And that's really unfortunate. What's also unfortunate is the fact that there seems to be a hands-off approach by the Western powers with this case that South Africa brought to their court, a court that essentially they established. If you look at the judges that comprise that court, it essentially mirrors the United Nations in the sense that it's really comprised mostly of Western judges, okay, or judges who have adopted Western judicial systems. And that in itself says a lot, all right? And apart from that, whatever it comes up with is non-binding. So Israel is probably going to ignore it anyway if it says, it does say that it's genocidal. What it has done is genocidal, right? And you know that nobody is going to enforce it. But at least it will bring some kind of another moral argument to what Israel is doing, okay? And make sure that history records that what it was doing was totally outrageous, totally inhumane. You can't collectively punish a people. You can't, the scale of it. You wanted to compare Ukraine with Gaza. There's no comparison. 23,000 people in a matter of months, and the war in Ukraine has been going on for years, and you don't have those kinds of civilian casualties. It's absolutely no comparison, right? And so I think the court will be forced to come down, even if they don't come down with an all-and-out condemnation of Israel and agree that it's genocide. They cannot allow this to go unnoticed to appear to sanction what Israel is doing. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos in the world. I mean, there's chaos in the world already, yes, right? And that's one of the points, too, that Israel made, that they're going on as if this is the only conflict in the world. We know it's not the only conflict in the world, but it's a conflict that has grabbed the attention of the world because of the savagery of it, both the Hamas attack and the Israeli response, right? And we cannot have that being part of any world order, new or old, right? And so let's hope that the wise judges there, I thought the panel of judges looked rather interesting. There was very little diversity there, but anyway, yeah, right. One of the thing about apartheid in South Africa, why the West supported the apartheid regime. Basically, they regarded them as their kith and kin, right? I suspect it's pretty much the same thing now, where because remember Israel was a lot of the people in Israel actually came from Europe, when Israel was formed first. It wasn't that they were there. It's the Palestinians who were there, and then the Israelis who had been scattered up and down the place, then came back there. Okay? And nobody's saying that they don't have a right to return, as they put it. Okay? But so too have the Palestinians who have been living there.
Well, let me ask you a
right?
question.
And that is, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Is it correct to use the term return when these people are Jewish by conversion, not Jewish by
descent?
Descent, right.
You sure of that? It's descent?
Do you know?
Probably a matter.
Do you
it's
know?
Probably a combination.
But do you know in Africa that not Africa? What am I saying? In Israel, they don't allow the black Jews. The few black Jews that they allow there to take genealogy tests. And do you know that they sterilize African women there?
Israel?
Yes.
That bastion of democracy?
Yes, they do. Go and look it up. You'll find it. Because the rationale is they don't want they know that if they know that if they do genealogical tests, they can tell whether people are Jewish by, like Kortensia said, descent, best word to describe it, versus conversion. And as
but I remember reading once that Israel actually sent planes for a group of black Jews who were in some conflict, some area in Africa that was under conflict. So they acknowledged, and one of the things they noted was that they practiced
that's tokenism as far as I'm concerned.
You think it's tokenism?
Yes. They just so they can say, "Oh, well, look, we have some black Jews."
But okay, but at least they did it, and it's, to me it's an acknowledgement that you know the Jewish, what you want to call it, religion is also practiced not just in Israel. Okay, it's practically everywhere, and once you acknowledge the fact that they have been scattered up and down the place, I can't go back to Africa and say, well, my ancestry is from Africa, and therefore I own this piece of land in Africa. No, I can't do that, right? So why should the Israelis be allowed to do that? You can't just displace people like that, you know. And if you have a right to return, well, other people have a right to return too. If they used to live there, you don't drive people from the homes and then say, you know, this. Well, I was here first. I don't think that's how it goes. And at least, even though there's still bombing, they apparently have run out of places to bomb. I mean, they've displaced so many people. I don't say they couldn't win this case, you know.
Yeah, well, but they probably will. They probably will because
I would not be surprised. I mean, because of the politics of it.
The world order is pro-Israel, not necessarily because they, you know, I guess, yeah, they're pro-Israel. I think.
The world order, not the world. Okay, because I think most of the world realize that this is just wrong. Okay, what has been happening there is just out and out wrong, right? But the powers that be in the world that determines the world order, they're the ones who are ultimately going to, you know, carry this way. And by the way, Azard is there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, this law week. Well, it's law week, is it?
Well, the opening of the law year, 2024.
Okay, yeah, not so much law week.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I was wondering about the theme. The theme itself. Is it a basic thing about having access? Everybody should have equal access to justice.
Well, it's about innovation. When I looked at it, it was centered around innovation, and the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court
innovation,
looking to
though,
the future.
Well, when I say innovation, though, you mean in terms of bringing in more technology and so on, or what actually is underlying that theme?
Well, in the address by the Chief Justice today, she would highlight the theme, and she would highlight what the court's position as relates to the theme. So I urge you to listen on at the live stream, because she will speak about that, and then we could have a discussion on Monday. So right, she will have.
I think more than the innovation, I think access is important. People have to be able to have access to justice. Otherwise, you know, what is justice?
And when you say access to justice, you're saying that what would prevent
things like the things like money, and if it's going to be a technological thing, the fact that some people do not have or do not use technology, those kinds of things should not prohibit them from getting justice.
So the theme is innovation and justice reform. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court looking to the future.
Yeah.
Okay. I just hope that it's not one of those, you know, the usual nice sounding words, and then you still leave the common man out in the cold, insofar as when it comes to accessing the courts, getting justice, paying for justice.
Well, I mean, there are lawyers out there, and I'm sure the lawyers are skilled, you know. Oftentimes persons may take the opportunity or take it upon themselves to, you know, represent themselves to their own disadvantage. That's why you have an attorney out there, you know, you could seek advice and you could seek understanding as it relates to the law and the procedures, and have that attorney represent you. We have a call?
Call, go right ahead.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to everybody, man.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Azard, man. Some of this, what I'm about to say, gonna be directed to you as a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And as you make the statement right now that the new judicial year is opened up today, right?
Yes, the opening of the
And the
new law
second
year.
part of that theme is about the second part of that theme is about reform. With that said, right, we got a legal issue that's brewing inside St. Kitts and Nevis right now with this DPP situation, and these persons who haven't declared their assets in
Mm-hmm.
terms of that, that law that was passed in Parliament,
Mm-hmm.
and there was said that there's alleged that two politicians haven't declared, and there is some long list of other persons who this law has affected, and they haven't really come forward to declare as well. And you being a lawyer, bro, and this being a legal issue, this is something you definitely should be trying to look into and see how you can galvanize the
Well,
people.
I'm sure I'm sure that the law that's there would give also the authority, whoever the authority is, the power to bring legal action against those who go against what is there. So oftentimes, basically in the law, they will provide an authority, whether the authority is, as you said, the special prosecutor, or whether the authority is someone else. And so that person will
Okay.
have to act with the power given by him or her.
Okay, so then therefore, you and those other citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis need to hold that higher power and that person or persons in authority. You got to hold these people feet to the fire.
And that
with
is
this
why,
issue.
and that is true, and that is why you have perhaps you have groups in the community, you have political parties, you also have persons, whether it is on radio or not, speaking about the issues that affect them and perhaps what they're seeing and perhaps inaction in the laws. Where it is
Yeah.
that, because you could have laws, but whether or not those laws are enforced by the persons who ought to enforce them. And so those come from a societal approach, because, oftentimes, and we could also make the mention that during election time, it is a huge decision maker as to how persons feel about those persons who create the law, because the parliamentarians create the law, and it's based on the executive to enforce the law and ensure that the law is carried out. And so even during election time, do our citizens care about how the state is governed, how laws are made, how laws are enforced? Do we even care when we consider who we're voting for, what government administration or party we're voting for? Do we take those things in consideration?
Put another way, like what I
Yes.
always say,
Yes, and I totally agree with you. And the spin-off is that the community groups, they need to step up in times like these. You know what I'm saying?
And I will tell
Because
you
the
this.
regular,
I will tell you this too, as a person of a member, someone who supports and is a member of the opposition party. There are oftentimes persons in the community, they see injustice, and you often ask them, well, why don't you assist us in terms of being a part of our voice? And persons will say to you, well, no, they don't want to get involved. And why? Rightfully so. There are sacrifices to be made, because those persons are fearful that the government, whether they have or the administration, the current ruling administration, the same one that they may have assisted in putting into power, may be against them if they are to voice their opinion. A lot of persons feel as though if they voice their opinion on national issues that go against what the government is doing, is going to be victimization.
Such, right?
Persons come to me, and
Yeah.
when I ask them, they say they are fearful because they have jobs, they might have some certain contracts with government, and so they don't want to speak out. And so we speak about things that are happening, and we become the voice and we become the target. But there are so many persons out there who are afraid to speak out on matters because they're afraid of the victimization, because it is real. And persons might not want to actually say that it's real, but it is real.
But the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis right now, they have a golden opportunity where, they can hold these guys' feet to the fire. The DPP, he might be in a position where he might need the public back end. And if this stuff, this is all geared towards minimizing the corruption. You understand? And the corruption in St. Kitts and Nevis is too rampant for us to ignore this stuff. And this is a golden chance for St. Kitts and Nevis as a federation to clean up the mess. And the DPP has been willing to come in and do his job, but somewhere along the line now, it seems like his job is being impeded upon by a higher power. And that can't be, and that shouldn't be. The citizens of the nation, they got to realize what's going on right now, because right now, if this DPP don't get this stuff done right now, it's going to be another 40 years of this corruption that we're dealing with. You know what I mean? Different than that, man, I don't know if you guys are willing. Me, as a person who's interested in coming back and, get involved with the politicking, the Bryan clause that's in the Constitution, I would ask you guys, man, if you can maybe do your homework and put this Bryan clause in discussion on the table in one of your sessions here on the Island T. Me, what I have observed about the Bryan clause is blocking people out here from the diaspora who has a foreign passport to come back into the federation and put their names on the ballot and be having the opportunity to become a parliamentarian. You can't get into parliament and having a dual citizenship or pledge allegiance to a foreign nation. Me myself, I don't see how that can be, because, man, I was born in cotton ground, bro. I'm a product of the nation. You cannot tell me my birthright is going to be ignored, whether I have 100 passports or not. You cannot dare tell that to an American person, bro. You know what I mean? But in the same breath, I have a foreign passport, but I have the right to come back home to vote. Why should I have the right to come back home to vote for somebody else, and I can't get the right for somebody else to vote for me? You know what I'm saying? If I cannot put my name on that ballot and run for politics, for a member of parliament, why would I just settle for being a person who's going to always constantly be voting for another person? You know what I mean? If I have the right to come back home to vote, I should have the right to come back home to be a politician as well. And with that said, man, that Bryan clause, in my opinion, need to be removed. It doesn't serve any purpose. And the person who I understand, Dr. Llewellyn Douglas, who maybe in his parliament, in his time, this Bryan clause was instated, and it came back and bite him in the butt. But right now, I don't understand if there's public knowledge that this man surrendered his Dominican passport. That bit of information, you guys need to bring that to the public.
I'm pretty sure that Bryan thing was before Douglas's time. Someone should call us and tell me.
I stand corrected. I
think.
But me being
yeah, I think that was before.
I stand corrected.
Not a fan of short dude, but I don't think that
Yeah, okay, but still Jamster, right? What I'm saying is, just as I have the right to come home and vote for another person, I should have the right to come home and put my name on that ballot box, that ballot, and run for elected official, a member of parliament.
Yeah, I think you should
as well.
Yeah, it makes plenty sense.
And if I'm going to put this out there right now in the top of this year, though, all the persons in the diaspora who's hearing my voice, they need to get on board with what I'm saying, because when election comes up, they only want us to come home to vote for them, we should boycott the next election coming up. We should make a statement to these politicians, because at first, I never thought that we could have come home to vote when I was out of touch with this political thing going on in St. Kitts and Nevis. And when I found out around 2013 that I could actually come home, I had made a trip home and put my name and register my name, and I have now participated in 2 elections, the 2015 election and the local election in Nevis in 2022, December. And I'm very much interested in coming home and contributing to my own country, but I cannot get it done with having a U.S. passport. And what I've went through and what my family went through to get this U.S. passport, is no way I'm going to surrender that passport to come home and run for politics. I should have the right to come home and get involved. I don't care if I have 100 passports from foreign countries. My neighbor's string is buried there. That means that it's a personal violation of my birthright. I should have the right to be on a ballot to run for politics in my own town, where in my own country where I was born. You cannot tell that to an American person, bro. The ban clause need to be addressed. They need to remove that. And those are my concerns for this morning, man.
Okay.
The issues with the DPP trying to prosecute persons who have broken the law. And the DPP himself has already compromised the situation by moving the date to give them more time to file. He has already compromised that situation. They have already broken the law, bro. There was a deadline that they didn't meet. And if they didn't meet that one deadline last year, how you think they're going to meet the deadline coming up for the next filing? And those are my concerns straight to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'm calling out the Prime Minister and the AG to address that situation with that DPP. They are the higher ups, and they're the ones who are responsible for the judicial system in the country. The AG said he's not the one to charge persons in politics with any white-collar crime, but the DPP would be the person to do that. But they was running the country from August of last year without the DPP. Now they instituted a DPP now, and the DPP is trying to do his job. If he don't get this stuff done, this man the mayors will vacate that office again and send this man home, bro. Nobody should be impeding on him to stop this man from doing his job. Okay. And that's my concern, and that's my contribution for this morning, man.
We got to take a break. Yeah, okay. We got to take a quick break. Yeah, sure. And,
no problem, man. Thanks a lot.
And we'll continue with your calls right after this.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Dreaming of that perfect getaway? Hop aboard the Michelina ferry to the breathtaking islands of Saba, Statia, St. Martin, and St. Kitts. Embark on a delightful journey and enjoy sun-kissed beaches, vibrant cultures, and unforgettable experiences. Visit MichelinaFerryService.com to book your island-hopping adventure today.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Department. Fasten your frequency. Smart e-government portal update is presented by Afia Web. Attention all clients. The Inland Revenue's change over to a new tax administration system is a topic that affects each one of us. Understanding the changes is key to a smoother journey. Do you know which taxes will be managed in Smart e-government portal and SIGTAS? Stay informed, stay empowered. Let's go through this changeover together and keep our tax affairs in the smartest shape possible.
Inland Revenue Department, working for us. Inland Revenue Department, working for us.
And we are back.
This is the beat with the acha, cha-cha.
Yeah.
What you have Azard singing? What? Singing, oh my God.
No, but actually that's on point. That's on point actually.
What is the words that Azard used that has me?
You know, I could never
That's
get
actually,
the words from that song.
Listen, that's why I don't sing them things in your
I know.
eyes. Not. And I
no,
said
he's
the
on
right
point.
thing.
That's a
I
good
is not singing
description.
that.
What is TJ saying?
What? Azard, he knows.
We have a
I
caller.
thought it was just me.
Yeah, no, trust me. No, trust me.
The only thing the only word I could get clearly is drift.
I think I about have 5 words. In 5 words I've heard
Only
that.
drift for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, am I that bad at this?
Trust me.
Funny.
You're
Caller.
the bravest. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
All right, good morning to all.
Hey, Rusty.
Good morning, Rusty. How you doing?
It's actually night here where I am.
Good night,
good
Rusty.
evening, Rusty.
Yeah, rub it in. Why don't you?
We just woke up, Rusty.
I want to make a couple of comments.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good.
I can't hear. I really can't hear you.
We're listening,
but
at this
anyway,
point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know you're listening to me, but I'm not here. I can hear you on my other phone, but I'm not hearing you clearly on this one. But let me just make the point that I really wanted to make.
Yeah.
First of all, the gentleman who just spoke, he spoke about Bryant clause. There is no such thing in our laws about a Bryant clause. First thing, they people call it Bryant clause. Let me explain. There's a clause that was made by the People's Action Movement to block citizens, people who are citizens from another country who does not have a parent, mother or father from St. Kitts to run in the country. Okay. So if both of your parents from Anguilla or Antigua and you want to come to run in St. Kitts, no, it was blocked like that.
Okay.
Then what happened, then Denzel Douglas, when he became prime minister, he blocked citizenship. So if you had an American passport, which 2 of the candidates would have had, he made sure you had to give it up to run as a candidate. But I'm agreeing with him that if you're a citizen of St. Kitts and you have 10 passports, 12 passports,
100.
you should still be able to run.
Yep.
That's the point I want to make on that particular point. You should be able to run. The other thing I want to mention, I sent it in the chat, but I need to mention it because I love my Taiwan, and Taiwan is having elections tomorrow.
Yeah.
The 13th of January, and I'm praying that it goes well. I don't want to be here sent back home to St. Kitts because China is now running us. But
You mean West Taiwan? West Taiwan. Correction, West Taiwan. Yeah.
All will be well,
right,
Rusty.
You call it what you want. But basically that's that. There's another thing I want to make because my friends keep calling me after I call in to you guys' show. But I learned that the courthouse is now at the western end of the island, up there by the fort.
Well, there's the High Court up there. The High Court is up there.
Yeah.
Also, one of the magistrate courts, it's up there.
Fortlands.
So why Fortlands? That's what I meant. Why is it not back where it's supposed to be? Why can't they get that problem fixed with the water? You see, I said something yesterday about the drilling and making parking lots on the ground.
Yeah.
And people started to laugh and tell me, oh, this can't happen, this, that kind of stuff. Oh, the water, being the water table. Taiwan has engineers, architects, engineers, all that kind of stuff, who deals with that on a daily basis. There's an area I do my 4-mile walk, and I see them drilling out a place. It's full of water. They take it out, they do what they have to do, and they continue building up, no problem at all.
Yeah.
So if our local engineers and architects and draftsmen and carpenters and people cannot do it, then please go and ask Taiwan to send down some of the people to help you to understand what to do. I think they should knock that building down, that limo courthouse headquarters, the building right next to it, knock the 2 of them down and rebuild the property right there. And if possible, go a little higher and put back the library. I don't know if the people listening are like Azard would know about the library back there. I don't know if Kortensia would know that as well. But there's the library right there. As we were going to school, Jamster, we used to go to the library.
Yeah.
We used to go to the library.
And we used to get sued. We used to get sued by the court proceedings downstairs. I actually remember that.
Exactly.
Sometimes we were up there giggling.
Exactly.
And like
Correct.
the judge would
we
look
could
up,
actually look through.
give us a
We
side
could actually
eye.
look through from the library, look down at the courthouse. We could actually do that. That's correct. But you see, we don't value things, because I was telling my friend, a library is not a bookshelf, because that's all libraries are in St. Kitts. There's a bookshelf. There's no microfiche. There's no sitting room. There's no discussion rooms. Nothing. It's just books on a shelf, and I want to tell you, you can pick up this one up, don't take that one. Okay, so we need to get into the 21st century. This is 2024. Anyway, if I have anything else, I'll call it again because
Okay.
they tell me I get too passionate and I shout and I argue and I sound crazy. So I'm trying to calm myself down and just make a cool contribution. One last thing. You told me last night to call into Messenger. I just called into Messenger and the lady told me she's not connected to the Messenger stuff. So I don't know. I had to use this route.
Okay, maybe West Taiwan did something to disconnect it. I don't know.
But Rusty, I don't know if you could hear me, but I don't know if you could hear me, but I was earlier in the year. I said that there are going to be 2 elections that someone indicated would be interested. I was watching a news clip or documentary or a little video, and persons were saying that 2 elections this year are going to be very instrumental: that of Taiwan and that of the United States.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Okay, 9:23. Let's move on to the next caller. Caller, go right ahead. Okay. Hopefully this person will call back.
So guys,
here we go. Yeah. Okay.
You have them?
Yeah, I'm just.
Good morning, you're live on Island T.
Island T, go right ahead.
Yes, good morning, Jamsto.
Good
Hey.
Good morning, Rusty. Good night, Rusty. This is Jam down here. The point the caller before Rusty was making, he is so right. The Attorney General and the vagabond fellow who we put the keys hand in. He's supposed to make sure he being transparent with the law. And the guy from the States is right. The Nividian guy, he's right. We supposed to make sure that we go into Parliament in 2024 and every citizen who got 180-something trillion passport could vote in this country. If people could come from all over and vote, that's the what that we have seen on here. And these are the things we got to fight down in the country. And next thing I want to talk to, and I'm writing this to Azard, a man of the cloth. Azard,
Yes,
why is it you all ain't talking about the selling of the hotel in Nevis? This is news. This is thinking.
Which hotel is being sold, Jam down?
These things to the country. If I don't come with these things to the country, people in the country.
Jam down. Which hotel is being sold?
Huh?
Which hotel?
Is being
Hotel
sold?
by the airport. I heard the premier and a shop.
Which one is that, Jam? Oali?
What call it? Nesbit Plantation.
Nisbet Plantation?
Nisbet Plantation.
Okay.
Why is it we cannot get direct news for both offices? Why? Kitchen can't get this news. And why the brother in the United States talk more about these things? Because we're going to find a way to cut out this corruption and badness. You cannot be
Yes, Jam
in the
down.
West, you cannot be a premier or prime minister on a part of a law firm and you're going to direct business through a law firm where you a part of. It's wrong. Them thing is wrong. I ain't dealing with it. People of the psyche. I ain't dealing with people who got sense and understand things in the country. Stop pulling wool over here like jacks. Have a good day, my brother. Good morning, the nice voice lady.
Morning, Jam down. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Jam down. Thank you.
So are they going to preserve the hotel if it's being sold or when it's sold? Because that was a really nice hotel.
He's saying that as though the hotel being sold is necessarily a bad thing. That's a neutral.
It's not, but are they going to preserve, do you think? Or they're going to put... Anyway.
Well, we'll have to find out if that's true and then who's buying it or what. Caller, go right ahead. 9:26.
Hello,
Hi, good day.
good morning. Very light.
Okay, what I'm going to put on in the storage system. How is it? An individual who entered Pakistan Navy and in a space of 1 year, that person will become eligible to vote. A child who just on trial got to wait until and did it over here.
No, but what you but what you doing what you saying though is comparing two different things. You're saying that
No. Listen to me. Let me complete because you cannot answer to what you have not heard. That foreigner who come here can be running the decision of that child's life and that child becomes 18 years and then that individual could get lands to buy and then we land run out and that child would not be eligible to get a inch of land to buy.
but across the board you must be 18 years or older.
Listen to me, I forget to cross the board. What I'm still walking away and what I'm suggesting. A person who come here, he come here above 18. I'm going to cross the board, coming straight like I would, you know. Because that individual can't tell you something, you know. What must be, what a life I'm leaving to live in America did not address. But up to 1975, 1st of December, general election, had what to be living on St. and consistently for 7 years. That's the part where everybody is missing. You had to be living in St. at least 7 years before you become entitled to vote. By 1980, after 1980 general election, that part was removed. I would like Rusty to address that, and I don't think the guy from Nevis who lives in America is aware of what I'm speaking to. Because the politicians, the ruling administrators, we the government, we are not taking the correct stance and deciding we are accepting the law. Because the politicians who are part of the ruling administration could always stay in power, just bring in, get them ready to vote for me.
Okay, Kosh.
Going on. We need to address that this year onward before the next general election. That got to be erased. Not to live here, just take out child born, not wait until 18 years. You come here, you want a better life. You have to live here for 18 years for you to become entitled to vote. That is what we, the government.
Okay, Kosh. Okay. Okay, 9:29. Okay. You sound like you're calling from another dimension. But anyway, I digress. We are going to be going to Fireproof. That's coming up next. It's 9:29. Kosh, you need to get a new phone. Come on. I know first that you need to get a new phone. So I'm just
thinking about these lyrics in my head.
Oh, okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
When you need better service, Rams is always here.
Well, it's time for Fireproof and our first, basically our first segment that has returned for 24K, you know this?
Yeah, indeed. Because whilst I was on the other side this morning, I was reading the little note that we have on the glass, and I was like, nobody came back this week. But then when I looked in there and I saw the firemen, I'd be like, oh, so they're the first. So
Those
guys, welcome back.
Those are some
Happy
long
New Year.
hangovers. Those are some long hangovers, huh?
Yeah, they're still catching up. I guess the firemen had enough water to wash theirs off, right?
True.
They burned theirs off, washed it off, smoked it out, and they're back. So, gentlemen, good morning, Happy New Year, and welcome back to your segment, Fireproof. And we have with us this morning Mr. Hodge and Mr. Clark. Your ranks, how do you say them? Because I'm not familiar, so I don't want to mess them up. So your rank would be Mr. Hodge?
Hi, good morning to all and a Happy New Year to you. It's good to be back here at Win FM. I am Fire Substation Officer Carindale Hodge.
Okay.
And good morning to Radio Land, Win FM. Just want to say again, Happy New Year. And hope that all your wish for the new year will be come true, be well and much productive. My rank is Fire Station Officer, equivalent to the Inspector of the Police Force.
Ooh, la. So you can lock us up. Alrighty, so don't start any fire. So, gentlemen, what are we going to talk about this morning here on Fireproof?
Well, basically, because it's our first time, person may not know the structure or the history of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire Rescue Services. I should say a happy belated birthday to the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire Rescue Services, the 1st of January.
Oh, happy belated.
24 very productive years.
Only 24?
24, yes.
I would have thought you guys might have been 42.
Oh no, we were under the command of the Royal St. Kitts and Nevis Police Force.
Oh, so you're a branch by yourself now.
Branch by ourselves.
You've grown up.
Yes.
It's only, so you're saying it's only been 24 years since they were separated?
24 years, yes.
Wow.
Okay. During that time, we have made a lot of strides. We are still working on a number of policies and trying to get our acts and so on up to date with assistance, taking some pieces from here and there to get a very comprehensive one. Even though we are young and progressing, we still need some sort of guidance in order to force to move forward. Okay? So basically, our mission statement is the mission of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire Rescue Services is to protect and safeguard the lives and property of citizens and the general economy by preventing or reducing the dangers and effects of fires and explosions. Do you expound?
All right. Within our mission, it speaks about the safeguarding of the lives. Whenever the fire department is called out, it's some kind of emergency. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fire. It could be an accident, a trapped person, or even a lost person in the hills. And within our mission, it is our sworn duty to go out and do the best we could for any of the citizens or, any visitors or anything. Anyone that we are called out to help. And we go out in good faith to do basically the best we can. As I said before, it's not necessarily fires alone we think, because the mission states that we are to prevent and reduce. In that portion of the mission, we have programs, one of our main programs being the annual summer safety program. And we have an ongoing fire prevention unit. So those are geared at reducing. And I think over the years we have been doing very well with those programs because we have seen a significant reduction in fires from then until now.
Good stuff. You mentioned your anniversary was on the 1st. We know that's Carnival Day too. I know the fire service probably was not in the Carnival like that, but what was done to culminate your 24th year of existence? On your own, I should say, because you existed.
Well, the fire department has been going through a transition right now of chiefs, but this year the anniversary was just celebrated soft. For us in Navies, because I'm a part of the Navy staff of the
Okay.
fire prevention, of the fire department.
Okay.
What we did on the first Sunday of the year, we had a visit to the Eden Brown Church of God, and we celebrated with them. It was a very nice ceremony, if I must say.
Yes.
That's the first time in a long time I used to steal pans in church.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, they have a very nice youth program going at that church.
Nice.
But for the most parts of it, celebration was just soft. They brought back the Christmas party, where we had actually 2 Christmas parties for this year.
Ooh.
And, it's just kind of trying to build camaraderie. But
Amongst the two islands,
amongst the whole department.
Okay, okay.
But we saving it for the 25th anniversary.
Oh, well, this seemed that it will be something very grand.
Chief Williams promised that it would be grand.
Oh, nice. Ramel, you heard it. You're hearing it again. They're expecting, so please do not disappoint. All righty.
Yes. So our vision statement is to ensure a better equipped fire and rescue services with modern equipment responsive to the needs of the public. To ensure a knowledgeable and professional firefighters and positive, I use that word, positive public perceptive. This is our vision statement.
So what you said positive. What do you think the public sees you as right now? Not as positive as you should be?
Yes. We are positive in all of our doings, but some person might have different perspective. Okay. Hearing on the ear all along that, and we want to make it clear that anytime the fire appliance responds to any fire or emergency, we always have our fire truck filled with water. At no time we ever respond to any fires without any water.
Okay.
So in the media,
so whomever is saying that needs to cease and desist.
Need to cease and desist.
Okay.
Because if the fire starts and you have person with a camera coming after, we have a process where we have to locate hydrants. Hydrants are underground. We have to look for them and get them connect up to the appliance, and then we start to distribute water. So if you reach on the scene and you realize the hose no water is there, that's because we are in the process of getting the water to the appliance, or they just reach in a bad timing to see that we are trying to do some sort of evacuation or some sort of ventilating, not that there's any water in the appliance. So one put that out there that we are very professional, and we ensure that we're going to do our best at all times.
Okay.
All right. To add to what Mr. Clark was saying just now about the appliance and the water, our appliances that we have carry for the municipal carries 1,000 gallons the most, and some down to 700 or 650 gallons. Any of the appliances could be emptied within a minute and a half. The pumps are very strong, and when we go out to attack a fire, especially a structural fire, once we have 2-3 lines out, it depletes the water
quickly,
very, very quickly.
Let me ask you, gentlemen, I don't want to, how do they say that? I don't want to scrape your old wounds, but I know there was a fire over at the Southeast Peninsula, right? And you gentlemen probably ran out of water as well over there. And people was wondering if you could use the pond water, but then that's salt water, and that could destroy the appliance. So will there be hydrants installed over there to assist you should a next event like that occur over there, so it doesn't look bad, like, oh, the firemen didn't try, or they didn't have extra appliances, or they couldn't do this and they couldn't do that?
Okay, I think I would be the most appropriate one to answer that, since I was actually the one on the scene there first.
Okay.
We received the call for the fire at the Southeast at around 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Responded in very quick time, and when we started the attack, what I observed is the type of material that was burning. When you hit it with the water, the flames move, but as soon as you move the line, the flames come back. So within 5 minutes of that attack, I observed that, and all stations were called in, including the airport station.
Okay.
So we had the Sandy Point, Tabernacle, and RLB call because Bastia was on the scene. At the time, the appliance we were using was 1,000 gallons. There was a hydrant close, but I don't know if persons realize the water problem that we are having in St. And at this time, you must sympathize with the persons in the water department trying to ration the water for all of us to use, because I don't think anybody wants to get up one of these days and by 2-3 days you ain't got no water to bathe with. I don't think we Kititians have been so fortunate for the time. I don't think we could live in that age.
No.
So we went out of water, and it wasn't because a hydrant wasn't close.
Okay.
A hydrant was about maybe 200 feet away from the fire, but there was no water in it.
Okay.
So the first arriving truck was the airport tender that came with 3,000 gallons of water. And then all other appliances came and they were refilling the airport tender.
Okay.
And they were heading the water. We also used pumps. There were 2 pumps set to the seawater. It's a lot of water we use over there.
Oh, wow.
2 pumps were set to the seawater, and we had about 4 lines coming, two from each of those pumps. But as I said, the fight was the material that the house was built out, because it was geared to prevent from the sea blast destroying it.
Okay.
So it was a task.
Okay.
Because we responded to the fire around 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sure it was about 4:30 the afternoon when we actually left. The whole department was
That's
exhausted.
A good 12 hours of fighting the fire.
Yes,
wow.
but we were able to save just a little piece of the property. But I mean, it was surprising that we were able to save any, given what was burning.
Okay.
But we did the best we could.
Okay. And we appreciate that.
I remember, I think we had a show maybe a few weeks ago, Fireproof, where I think the whole issue of balancing firefighting with the fact that we have water problems. And I don't think a lot of times the citizenry thinks about things like that, because I could imagine that's like a really tightrope for you guys to have to walk, where, people gonna say, oh, you are wasting water, but at the same time, fires have to be put out.
Yes.
So I think, but she was saying that she thought that the salt water can destroy the trucks. That's not really true, though, right?
It can have an effect on it if you don't flush it after.
You have to flush it
Oh.
after.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
remember
remember
Tim said that
properly
one
flush
time,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember Tim had
Yeah,
said
because
that
people
one
were
time.
saying, so they couldn't put salt water in the truck.
Yes. So, at this time, again, we would like to ask the general public to desist from lighting fires. We're coming up to the dry season. We know that it's persons lighting the fires and the fires getting away from them, because during COVID, if the fires were lighting themselves, they decreased significantly. I don't know if the heat catch a little COVID and it wasn't working there. But you saw a drastic decrease in the fires. So most of the wildfires we're having are from persons
Setting
being
them.
out. They set a little fire in the yard and the place is that dry that any little thing happen, the fire just run away.
Okay.
So we are asking persons, to stop lighting the fires then.
I want to ask what might be a delicate question. On the rescue side of things, I know you guys have, I know fire department started with fighting fires, and then eventually your remit expanded to include rescue services. If you had your druthers, what kind of rescue equipment you would like to see added to your let's say your arsenal for the rescue side of things?
Well, honestly, I can't answer that question.
You can't answer that question
because I know there is room for improvement everywhere.
Do you have everything?
We have a lot. We have a lot of equipment. Over the years, we have been we have been getting a modern fire department.
Okay.
We have really good partners. You must mention Rosenborough, which is one of our major appliance suppliers.
Okay.
And they have been donating a number of stuff. I don't know if Mr. Clark off his top of his head could state what the fire department might want presently. I know we would need more modern equipment, but to say exactly what, other than asking for like some water tankers that would aid in the water issue that we may have like when we go to certain areas of the country. I right now can't say off the top of my head.
Okay.
While we're on equipment, however, I would like to publicly thank the Homeowners Association from the Four Seasons. They donated a brand new KED. It's like a flexible backboard that we use in rescue operations.
Oh, nice.
It's something you could protect the spine of someone with in a vehicle in any tight spot. That was donated to the Charlestown Fire Station just at the start of the week.
Oh, thank
Cool.
you.
Okay, let's take this call. We have a call here.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Fireproof.
Just at the start of
Hi, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to follow on a question that Jamster asked in terms of equipment or supplies you might need for your asthma. The thing is, here I'm living in Taiwan. It's Rusty speaking. I'm living in Taiwan, and I pass the fire station every time I go to the hospital, and they have ladder. I don't know the correct name, so excuse my ignorance. They have ladder firefighting machines where they go up for 20 stories and what have you. We don't have 20 stories. We don't need that. But I'm thinking in the same fire you were talking about for in the peninsula area, if you were up, if you could have gone up maybe a ladder, maybe 20, 40 feet, I don't know how high, and you poured down on the particular wood, wouldn't that might have helped it? One. Two, if you realize water is not the solution to out the fire, easier or quickest solution, don't you think that the fire truck should have more than one option, much like the airport fire engines have more options? And the third thing I want to mention is that I'm amazed every time I pass the fire station is that they have two water vehicles, like dinghy boats and that kind of stuff, to save people in the rivers or in the sea. Don't you think we need to get to that level? I know when I was home and they were cutting up by Amiga, I think it was, by the post office, we had people diving on the water to weld, because that's where I learned some of the welding on the water, right there where the post office is. If something were to go wrong or happen, do we have divers to rescue people? Does the fire station have divers? Or those things are not even considered? That's my question.
All right, thank you very much for your question, sir.
Wait, let's take this other call, and then you guys can address them in bulk. Okay, that person. So I guess you can go ahead.
Okay, I was saying thank you for your question. In terms of the first question was about having a ladder truck. We have realized that it is essential, yes, to get a ladder truck, but not for those type of storage, not for so high. However, over the southeast and in different areas of the island, through development, we have been seeing a number of high-rise building up to 5, maybe 6 story up.
Okay.
So having a truck like that would be good. It would aid us greatly. However, back to the said fire that we were speaking of in the southeast, we had to bring in we got the assistance of somebody with one of those very big forklifts that used to move containers, and we were able to fight the fire from heights.
Okay.
But it's just, again, the material that was burning. It was very, very hard to work with.
Okay.
In terms of the question pertaining to the media, the options of media that we may have, in the fire service presently, we carry 3 types of media. For some municipal station, it's water alone. For some, it's water and foam. And the airport carry a third agent, which is dry chemical. We had all 3 on the scene at the time. Foam works for liquid fires. That is what it's more efficient on.
Yeah.
It's used as a blanket to keep out air from...
smother it.
Yes. So the foam on the building may not have been the best thing to use. The other agent is the dry powder, which would work for a quick knockdown, like it disperses the oxygen from the area.
Again.
So you get a very quick knockdown of the fire. But it's a powder that blows out, and once it's gone, the fire comes back if it's not cooled properly. And yes, the agents, they work well in what they are intended for. However, on that fire, I don't think they would have done much.
Let's take another call. Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good morning. I had a recommendation as it relates to the issues when, take for example, in the Frigate Bay, Birdrock, and other areas around the island, there isn't any water due to the current situation with the lack of rainfall. When we design buildings, especially high-rise buildings, and we have cisterns on the roofs, we tend to put 2 taps on it, and the fire officers would know what I'm referring to in this regard. One will be at a, let's say, slightly elevated level on the tank to allow for potable water throughout the building. And then there will be another one at a lower level to allow for the sprinklers of the fire system within those buildings to ensure that they always have water, because the tanks are very, very large and they take up a lot of space. So what engineers tend to do is to ensure that there's always water. They put the water for the fire system at a lower level. What I'm asking is if this approach can't be taken or considered with regards to our reservoirs throughout the country, where they are designed in a similar fashion, where the outlet for the water, for the hydrants, is at a lower level in the system, and the outlet for the potable water is at a higher level, so that no matter what, when water is cut off for drinking, there's always water accessible for the fire system. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. And I find it's a very good suggestion, but what that would have, how that would have to work is that the water department, public works, may have to lay 2 sets of line throughout the country. From the reservoir, they would have to lay 2 sets of line going out, so that one is specifically for the hydrants and the other one is for the home use. What we have been doing is, once the airport is closed, and around any time, well, when I was in Bastia, once I get a call and it's gone 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I don't wait until I got to the scene to see whether or not there is water, because I could safely assume that there was none. And I would call one of the airport trucks right away to give me that additional 3,000 gallons of water. It is still being done as recent as a fire we had in Taylor's earlier this week. The airport truck came down to assist. So that's what we could have done for now.
Caller, go right ahead. Fireproof.
Good morning. In response to an earlier question about equipment that they think they need, I wasn't sure whether the answer I cannot honestly answer meant I cannot answer honestly, or honestly I don't know the answer. Anyhow, my question is regards to our infrastructure. When new housing areas are being developed, is it an integral part of the laying of water lines and roads that hydrants are installed in every new housing development on St. Kitts? Or is it that if we are lucky, we'll find one? And secondly, in light of the fact that, as you said earlier, it would have been advantageous. If you take a building such as the Marriott, which isn't particularly high, it's about 4.5, 5 stories at the most. We also have that development there, I think it's called Pirate's Nest. It seems as if it's becoming increasingly likely that there could be a fire in a building, in a structure, which is more than 3 to 4 stories high. And it's obvious that at this time, we don't have a ladder equivalent whereby you can pour water down onto the fire. And so I would suggest one of the honest answers is we need a pump truck which has the ability to pour water down on whether you call it a ladder truck or whatever it is, that we need that kind of equipment as we continue to build taller buildings on the island of St. Kitts. Thank you very much.
All right, caller, thank you for weighing in on Fireproof. I firstly must apologize, and I must say I erred, yes, in knowing the equipment needed presently. However, buildings like the Marriott, the courthouse, which is not that high, and some other buildings, what they have done is while they were under constructed, they would have installed a fire system where we don't have to run hoses all the way up. You connect to the outside of the building. There is a pre-connect, and you pump water through there, and you go up and you use the fire hoses on the inside. Mm-hmm. So that is something that was done. In terms of what is actually mandated, we don't have any laws that speculates the actual fire suppression systems for persons, but we are grateful and we do appreciate persons coming to us as a fire department. They ask for suggestion. A lot of the businesses and so forth before anything is actually renovated or built in some areas. Mm. You speak to the same fire prevention unit that we have. Persons would go and give suggestions, and most of the time the suggestions are adhered to. And we really appreciate it as you make our work much easier for us in the future.
Okay, it's 1 minute until 10 o'clock. I'll give the
Mr. Clark, yes, he's rather quiet, Yeah. He's taking his notes, He's taking his notes, but Mr. Clark, we need to hear from you.
Yes, I'm taking notes because I'm a city management meeting. So
okay. Yes, good stuff.
So just putting everything together. So yes, we need fire codes. We think sometime soon after we finish our act, we would be diving right into fire codes, giving us enough legislation and teeth to deal with some of these, as the person say, high-rise buildings. And fire chief supposed to be sitting on and giving the best advice on the building board. But seemingly, well, I left that for another time. But yes, but we do need these fire codes. So we have the laws out there, so ensure that persons are safe and the businesses carry out the very unique way of having the fire suppression and fire alerting mechanism to ensure that the citizens and the staff are safe.
Okay.
Funny how time flies, This is half an hour show, and it just flew like that, and it was
just
very,
like that.
It was very interesting and very informative, I must say. Yeah, and I love how I'm picking up the firefighting jargon. Attack. That's what you guys. That's what you guys call when you start the suppression, right?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Very cool. Attack. I love that. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And once again, we have to wish you guys a fire-free 2024.
Yeah. But not really, because every time I hear the ambulance, I'm looking to see, not the ambulance, the fire truck, I'm looking to see where they're going now.
I didn't even hear they want out Taylors. I mean, I live in that area. I didn't even hear anything, so couldn't have been that bad, right? It wasn't that bad, I hope.
Mr. Hodge?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
it was
okay.
a church right close to the Washington Archibald High School.
Oh, really? I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, it was completely burned out.
Really? Wow.
The devil is a liar.
Yeah, and that's just over, that's less than 100 meters from me, I would say, I think. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys stay safe, and once again, I have to double down. I think sometimes when you speak things, it comes into existence. So, fire-free 2024.
Yes, fire-free 2024. And folks, as they mentioned, do not light fires. If you're going to light a fire, call the fire department and ask them how best you can do it so that you can contain it if it is, well, I should say you can try to contain it at your best until they get there if it gets out of hand. So contact them always. They are important. They are an important part of our society.
Yeah. Well said. So it's 2 minutes after 10 o'clock. We have lashes to get. We're going 2 minutes over. Might be what, 2 dozen lashes maybe each? Okay.
You can take all for me as well because I don't do lashes very well.
Okay, guys, have a great weekend. All right.
Thank
See you guys
you.
next
Take
week.
care until next week.
And that's gonna do it for Island Tea. Okay, have a great weekend as
You
well.
too.
Okay.